I want to share a really great stress relieving tool with you. Now, I use this a lot in my one-on-one coaching and it's really powerful. There have been times where I have just been, my stress bucket is so full that there's a straw that just breaks the camel's back, and it can be anything. And this happens in life and business. And like I always say to you ladies, life is business and business is life. You can't have one without the other. Trying to separate them just causes even more stress. So this one tool I'm hoping will bring you some relief. It's a tool that you can use absolutely anywhere. You can be scribbling away in a notebook and just following my prompts in your head. You can use this tool when you're staying with your mother-in-law. You can use this tool in business. You can teach it to your kids. It's a really, really effective tool. And you've probably already done some of this work with me. You've definitely done it with me if you've coached with me before. And you've seen it a little bit in some of the other stuff that I've done. So it's about exploring, getting things out, and then evaluating them, and then deciding which actions to take. Because when you're stressed, you actually don't know what you're stressed about. Now, I'm not just talking about stress that you understand what it's about. I'm talking about stress when you're just feeling that low-level anxiety, or you know that you're procrastinating and it's not just because you're tired, it's because you're actually avoiding something, and just when things feel a little bit off. So when you know what you're stressed about, it's quite easy to find someone to talk to and roll through that and come up with some solutions. But this is for times when you really are stressed, and you're so stressed that you just can't figure out what it is. So if you were coaching with me one-to-one, and that's what I want you to pretend that you're doing right now, that you and I are coaching one-to-one, I would ask you a question, and then I would allow you some time and ask you further questions to draw out what that stress is actually about. So you're going to have to ask yourself those questions, but I'm going to give you the prompts. Now, you might want to stop and pause me at points in this video, because some of the areas that I ask you about will be more stressful than the others. So if you're finding you've got lots to write down, just pause me and then come back to me. So if you don't already have pen and paper, please go ahead and grab yourself a pen and paper and then come back to me. Welcome back if you paused me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk to you about some of the areas in your life, and I want you to write down anything that's stressing you out. Might be mild, might be massive, might be something that you don't really think is important at this time, but it might become important when we do the evaluating stage. So I'm going to get on with asking you some questions. Right now, I want you to think about work. What is stressing you out about work? Do you have too much work and you don't know how you're going to deliver? Do you have not enough work and you're worried about how you're going to generate more business, or how you're going to pay your business loan this month? Do you have someone that you're dealing with in business that is actually causing you some stress? Is there a communication issue? Are you self-sabotaging yourself? Is somebody else trying to sabotage you? What is going on underneath the surface for you with work? Now we're going to move into family. When you think about family and your commitments, we're not talking relationships yet. I just want to deal with the practical stuff. Are you stressed about having to cook dinner? Are you stressing about how to cook nutritious dinners so that your family is healthy? Are you worried about finding the time to buy the ingredients, go to the shop, and then cook dinner? Are you worried about that your house isn't clean and that's stressing you out? Are you worried about that people aren't helping you at home, so you feel all of the pressure on top of yourself? Do you feel safe at home? Do you feel supported at home? When you think about home, what is the feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach? What is the feeling that you get in your heart? What are the thoughts that you start to think? And what is it that you'd actually like to verbalize? Now let's move on to finances. Are you worried that you have now started attracting a lot of money and you're worried about what people are going to think about you? Are you worried about how you're going to spend all that money? Are you worried about not having enough money? Are you worried that you're charging too much money? Are you wanting to put your prices up but you're stressed about how that's going to be perceived? Are you worried about going on a family holiday and how much it's going to cost? Are you worried about what your partner is spending? Are you worried about bills that are coming up? What is it that's stressing you out around finances? Now, let's move into health. How do you feel when you think about your health? Do you feel okay? Is your brain okay? Is your heart okay? Is your gut okay? Are your muscles okay? Is your back okay? Do you feel full of vital energy when you leave out of bed? Are you sleeping okay? Do you feel like you're nourishing your body with the right foods? Do you like what you see in the mirror? Do you feel good about your body? Do you feel great when you exercise? Are you worried that you're exercising too much? Are you worried that you're not exercising enough? What is it that's stressing you out about your physical health right now or your mental health? Are you worried about your family's health? Are you worried about your parents' health? Are you worried about health in the future? Are you worried about health right now? Now we're going to look at relationships. What comes up for you when I say the word relationships? Is there someone that's taking advantage of you at the moment? Are you being used in some way? Are you being taken advantage of in some way? Are you using somebody in some way and you're not feeling good about it? Remember, you're just being honest with yourself here and you'll never get judgment from me. Please excuse me. Are you worried about how your communication is being perceived? Are you worried about communicating with somebody? Are you worried about what you're going to say to someone? What is coming up for you around communication and relationships? Are you worried that you won't find a partner? Are you worried about your partner? Do you wish you didn't have a partner? Now move on to children and other responsibilities. Is there a friend you're worried about? Are you worried about your children, their schooling, how they're doing, their socializing? Great. We've covered finances, we've covered family and home, we've covered relationships, and we've covered work. There are a whole lot of other areas, but those are great places to start. If you need to, rewind and go back to the start and stop on each of my questions and just write out whatever pops into your head, the person that pops into your head, the message that pops into your head, whatever comes up for you. Those are your biggest stresses. Now, some of those stresses you might not have even known about until I asked you those questions, and that's the gold in this exercise. When we're stressed, we're in fight or flight response, and actually we just don't even know what's going on. So having those questions as prompts is a great idea. Now we're going to move into solving it, because there's no point in just knowing what you're stressed about, right? Unless we're actually going to do something about it. So you know me, I always like to categorize things and give you a system that works. This is what works for all of my clients. I've never not seen this work. It doesn't mean it's going to solve all your problems. It just means that we're going to take some of the stress off your plate. So stress, like anything else, and anxiety is kind of a bucket. And each little thing can start to build up until it's just completely overflowing. I mean, we've all heard of the saying, the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So you might be worried about finding your next client, and then you're worried about then you did find 3 clients, and now you're worried about delivering, and then you're also worried about your child who's cutting at home. Then you're also worried because your partner's body's breaking down. You're worried about what he's going to do for work, and then you're worried about your mum. And then you get home and you ask your teenager to do the dishes and she's sloughing around on the couch and you just flip your lid, right? Like I said, you'll never get any judgment here. I do all of these things. We're just people, you know, we need to let up on ourselves a little bit. It's okay to be imperfect because we're all imperfect. Anyone that says their life is going swimmingly 100% of the time is not telling you the truth. Or they're not living in their reality or being authentic. It's okay to not be okay. But it's also important that you take action to get out of it. So what you're going to do now is you're going to read through your list. Pause me if you need to. Read through your list, and I want you to get 3 coloured highlighters. So we're going to have green, and we're going to have yellow, and we're going to have orange. If you don't have those colours, it doesn't really matter, no stress. You can just rate them 1 out of 3, or you can use different colours or whatever works for you, darling. So read through them. What you're going to do is actually, let's rate it first. So let's talk about a stress scale. 1 is... it'll be on your side, right? 1 is not really stressed about it. It's there, but, you know, no big deal. 10 is, oh my God, my head's going to fall off. I'm so stressed. 5 is, actually, this is a bit of a stress for me, but, you know, I know that I can resolve it. It's not really that big a deal. Go ahead and cross everything from 1 to 5 off. Not really a big deal. Now we're going to take everything that's from a 5 to a 10, and I want you to go through, pause me, please. You're going to take your orange highlighter and you're going to highlight anything on that stress list that you can take immediate and relatively easy action on. And then I want you to write next to it that 1 easy action. It's not going to be that you're going to solve the whole problem, but there is at least 1 small step that you can take today. So an example might be that you are worried about finding your next client. So you highlight it green because it is actually something you can do about. You're going to go back through your funnels and back through your leads. You're going to think about people you know who need your service. You're going to think about 1 service and 1 person, and you're going to contact them. That's going to take some of the stress away. Or you're going to book yourself in with a coach or some sales training, or you're going to contact me, or there's some action that you're actually going to take. Next, I want you to go through and I want you to highlight the things in yellow, and those are the things that you can take some action about, but that you actually need some external help here. So you might need to go and see a counsellor, you might need to go and see a mortgage broker, you might need to go and visit the school, but basically you need external help. So it is within your control, but it also requires some external support and control as well. Next, I want you to go through and I want you to get your orange highlighter, and those are the things that you have no control over. That might be that you're worried about your mother's health. There is nothing that you can do about your mother's health. Now, don't take offense to this, you know I'm blunt. This is going to be your fuck it bucket list, right? There is just nothing you can do about it. As much as you love your mother, as much as you'd like to change her health and the choices that she made around her health or the circumstances that have led to her health, there is nothing you can do about it. Doesn't mean you're putting your mum in the fuck it bucket. It just means you're putting the stress around that into the fuck it bucket. And now the reason I've chosen something so triggering as your mum is that you're not going to want to put things in the fuck it bucket because it makes you feel like you're not taking action, like you're not valuing that person. You are, darling, but there is nothing you can do about it. If we want to lower down that stress bucket for you, we have to ditch some of those things. So you're going to go through and put those in your fuck it bucket. You'd be surprised. It will actually help your brain to let them go. It's not going to solve anything. It's just going to make you feel a little bit better. Now, I know that this exercise is a little bit of a challenge, but it really does work for every single one of my clients, and I know it's going to work for you too. So I hope that you have some relief after doing this, and that you come back to this many, many times, and that you teach it to your children. This is a really valuable exercise. I feel, sorry, I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit here, but I really don't feel like society and schools prepare us for adult life and the stresses that are in life. Like, sure, we meditate to get rid of stress, and we go for a bushwalk to get rid of stress, or we shop to get rid of stress, or we drink to get rid of stress. But actually dealing with stress, like nobody teaches us how to do that. And we can deal with stress. We can deal with everything in our lives. It's just about tools and resilience and knowing that you can be in charge of those things. So go well, my lovelies, and I hope this has helped. Bye.